Hi guys, so today we're going to show you how to do this crocodile effect. Right guys, so my tip is already buffed and prepped and scrubbed, ready for the application of the base coat. So we're going to apply the base coat thinly and evenly. If you're doing this on a natural nail, you need to avoid touching the cuticle area and the sidewall area and make sure that you cap the edges here. On a tip for press on nails, you want to make sure that you really cap in all the edges so that there's no lifting that occurs. And then we're going to cure that in the LED lamp for 30 seconds. And now we're going to apply neon pink. This colour is absolutely stunning. It's very pigmented. Got a bit too much on my brush there. You want to make sure that it is only a thin layer. If you do a thick layer, it's going to bubble under the LED lamp, which means that it's not cured underneath. So we want to make sure that we're capping all the edges. And then we're going to cure that in the LED lamp for 30 seconds. Then we're going to apply a second layer of neon pink. A really thin layer, making sure that you try and take out any streaks if you can. And cap in all those edges. And then we're going to cure that in the LED lamp for 30 seconds. Now we're going to apply the top coat. Now it's up to you whether you want to do a matte top coat or a non-white top coat, which is glossy. So as you can see on this nail, I've used a glossy background with a bubble effect. I'm not going to do the bubble effect today, but you can see the detail of the bubble effect under there. So I'm going to use a matte top coat. So you want to make sure that you're applying it evenly and not too thick, just a thin layer is required, making sure you're capping all your edges. And you don't want any bubbles or streaks before you place it under the LED lamp. You can check this just by going over with the lights. You see, like there I have a couple of bubbles. That will show, especially under a matte top coat. The matte top coats are an absolute bugger to show flaws. Lovely. So now I'm going to place that under the LED lamp for 30 seconds. So I'm going to place a small blob of non-white matte top coat onto my palette. And then we're going to work from there. Okay, so now you need a striping detail brush, and you also need a mini brush. Now, using the non-white top coat, I'm actually going to be using the brush just because this nail is quite wide, whereas if you were using it on a small nail you would use your detail brushes. So I'm going to just do a line across. It doesn't have to be neat, there's not much to it, but you definitely don't want them to join. You've got to have good eyes for this to make sure that you're not going to be touching what you've already done. So as you can see, I've just done that, so leaving a gap in between each one. And now joining the same kind of line with that, we're going to do the same thing, but making sure you're not touching. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys, so you know, play around with it however you like. So as you can see, I've just done that there. And then we're going to do the other side. And then, now using the mini brush, we've got a small bit on that. So what we're going to do, in these tiny corners here where there's no gel, we're going to just dab. It doesn't have to be perfect, it can be any type of shape. Just fill in the gap and make it look really natural. Just adding in the extra scales in there. And then we're going to move over to the other side and do the same here. And then you need your acrylic powder, because we're not going to cure that now. I'm going to use a pink acrylic powder. You can use clear to get the same effect because the colour will actually show through. So I'm using pink and I'm using my cuticle tool, and then I'm lightly going to just pour over what we've just done. Only lightly pouring over. I'm just using an old lid of mine just to catch that. You can actually do this over your acrylic pot if you like. So you want to make sure that you've got that acrylic powder everywhere so it gets soaked up by that gel. I'm sorry, I've just gone out of focus there. So keep adding because you just want to make sure it's fully covered. If you see any gaps, just keep going over. And then when you're ready, see, I might just do a bit more at the top here. Just tap in the nail lightly, then we're going to place that under the LED lamp for 30 seconds. There's the finished result. So when you cure that, the acrylic sets into the gel, so now you can touch it. So if when you bring yours out you still got a bit of excess, you can just lightly brush over the top of that. Some people actually use prep and scrub and wipe over. As you can see here, I'll just try and rub that away. As you can see, I've bled here. So this is what happens if it touches. Oh, actually, wait a minute. I might not have. Just lightly blew on that there. Oh, so actually, it's not too bad. But that's what happens. It kind of takes the detail away. So if that happens, as you can see, I'm just going over with my cuticle line here because it might just be a case of clogged up powder. So you could just score that off there. Just a bit more here. Lovely, and now we're all done. And that is how you create this design. So as you can see, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit there. With this one, I've used a matte top coat underneath. I do much prefer it with the glossy top coat, but I'll leave it up to you to try and just see how you feel with doing it yourself. Also, you don't have to add these small ones in between here. To me, that just adds a bit more effect to make it look more realistic. If you are a bit of a neat freak and you like them perfectly straight across, then just do that and don't add them in. But, you know, just have a practice, have a play around and just have fun. Enjoy. Hope you've enjoyed the video.